Hello everyone, my name is Clarissa Gossett and I'm here today to talk to you about how I created these cute little trees in Floriani Total Control U software. If you need to get a hold of me later, you can email me at cgossett, G-O-S-S-E-T-T, at rnkdistributing.com. So with the cute little trees, I created a pillow band, and the back of the pillow has a different design on it, and if you turn the band, you'll have a fall version. So it's a fun little project, so refer to the project instructions how to make the band. So let's get into our software. So I'll be using Floriani Total Control U. And the first thing I did was I brought in some artwork. So just so you know, we'll go over artwork real quick again. This is an SVG file. SVG files do not have pixels, so they're easier to automatically digitize, although they are limited in the fact that they're very literal. So it will see exactly what's on the screen. So for instance, if I look at this star right here, you think that's easy enough, I'll just click on it. Let's click on it, select it, and click our fill pattern and digitize it. Actually, let's use our satin stitch. There we go. Let's see it in 3D. And there we go. But we can see that there's a little gap in our artwork here. So with an SVG file, it sees exactly what the artwork is. Not what you interpret it as, but exactly what it is. So let's back that up. Let's reverse or undo, because we're not going to go with that. So what I like to do when I'm working with SVG files, oh, and by the way, sorry, a JPEG file is a file that has pixels. And that's like would be like having a coloring book drawing in the background and you're tracing on top of it. Okay, so with a JPEG file, you've got to trace or click around the image to get your outlines to digitize. So what I do, I'm going to work with this SVG file, but what I like to do with SVG files is kind of separate them into pieces. So, but to do that, I just click on the area that I want and I change the colors. So let's just give this a hot pink color, and this trunk, oh, let's give it another color. How about, orange, why not? Okay, so now I've got my artwork kind of separated into sections. So there's a star, I've got a trunk, and the rest of the artwork are the branches and the needles on the branches. So in the finished design, let me show you the finished design. And we'll kind of zoom in on it. You can see that for the needles, I digitized a running stitch. In the branches, I digitized a satin stitch. So that's what we'll do with our artwork. So back to the artwork. And so when I'm digitizing, and in any design that you're creating, you have to kind of think logically. I know that might hurt, but let's give it a try. So what we have to do is we have to think what would be easiest for our machine to stitch out. Okay, so if I digitized each one of these needles as a single running stitch, it would have to stop and cut and stop and cut, and that would be really a pain in the neck. And you'd have a lot of messy tie-offs and things like that. So it's best if we can connect everything together and make this a continuous running stitch. Okay, so I had to think about it and play with it for a little bit, but here's what I came up with. So if I start digitizing, go up here, running stitch, down here, back up, down here, and back up. That makes sense. So I can make a continuous running stitch, and the running stitches down the middle would be covered with the satin stitch of the trunk. So here you go. I could auto-digitize this because it is an SVG after all. Let's select the green, all the green, and we can click our running stitch. Click a running stitch, and it's thinking for a minute, and there I have it. I've got my running stitch all done. piece of cake. But what happened that I didn't like was it made some of them singles, some of them doubles, some of them triples. Some of them had teeny stitches, some of them had big stitches. So it did the best it could, but it's not as smart as my brain. So what we're going to do instead of auto-digitizing this is we're going to manually digitize this. So we're going to click there and delete what it did. And we're going to digitize this so it's more methodical. So let's zoom in on the top part here. And remember how I said logically we could go something like this? So let's do that. So I'm going to use my artwork pencil. We're going to draw this first. Click artwork pencil and we're going to start here. Click here and we're going to come here, down there, up there. And that will give me a double on the needles and a single down the middle. Coming up here and down here. And do you get where I'm going with this? So this artwork I'm going to give you as part of the project, it actually was a piece of artwork that was in the software, but I'm not sure where they got the artwork, but it was terrible. It wasn't very clean artwork. So I cleaned it up for you and I'm going to give this to you as part of the project. So you get where we're going here, and you don't have to be exact because they are pine needles after all, right? It's nature. And we don't have to come clear down to the end here. We can come back up because we want to get to the middle. And this running stitch that's going down the middle here will be covered with the satin stitch of the branches. So coming down here, the only thing you have to do is when you click down here at the bottom, just try and match back up to where you began. And we'll just finish this branch and then we'll carry on. So here we go. There we go. Good enough. And I find when I'm digitizing little more intricate things like this, I like an external mouse. Although I do have an onboard mouse, I like an external mouse. It just makes it easier on my hand. I kind of get hand cramps if I'm using the onboard mouse. Alright, we're almost down to the end here. Yeah, and it does take time, but you know, it's fun. I love creating things. Alright. And we don't have to go clear down here because we can come right back up the branch. And then we would go down and do the same on this branch, but we're going to stop there so you get the idea. And if we go look over in our artwork down at the bottom here, there's the drawing that we just did. Let's turn it to a brighter color so we can kind of see it. Do you see it there? It's all the pink. So once I've clicked on and created all the needles and branches, or all the running stitches down the branches, I'm going to click my run stitch here in the bottom left corner. And there we go. So this, if I zoom in, you can see has made nice even stitches, and I have, and let's watch it stitch out. Let's do a slow redraw. We'll actually make it go kind of slow. Well, that went too fast. Hold on. Slow redraw. I mean slow. Okay, let's start it over. Let me zoom back out a little bit here. Okay, here we go. So it goes in and out, in and out. So I don't get triple running stitches and tiny stitches. I get nice even stitches in a logical manner. Here we go. Finish that branch, come up the middle, and go down. All right, cool. All right, so let's select that. We can see what it's done here. It's made a single run with a stitch length of 2.5. I think they're kind of tiny needles, so I might change the stitch length to about a 2.0. Click apply, and there we go. I like that better. All right, right, so we carry on and do the rest of the needles. The next thing we need to do are the branches. So let me zoom back out by double clicking the magnifying glass on the left. All right, so we're going to put a satin stitch down the middle of each of these branches. But we want that to be in a logical manner as well. I don't want a satin stitch down the middle of the tree because it's going to satin again over the top and that would get too thick. So what we'll do, let me zoom in here. Oop, zoom. All right, so what I decided to do here was grab my digitizing tools, and I'm going to grab the steel stitch, and I'm going to click steel stitch here to here. Right click, turn it off, and yes, it's thick, we'll adjust that later. And then I'm going to grab a running stitch and go from here to here. Then left click to turn that off. Grab my steel stitch, click here, and we got a curve here so you can hold control on your keyboard. And we will come clear down to the end, maybe right there. Right click, there we go. All right, so then I ended here, but I need to be up here, don't I, to go down the middle. So what I'll do is we'll select that branch, and we're going to go to our shape tool, the third tool on the left, and see where it stops and starts. Here's where it starts, here's where it ends. So if I bring this end back up here, it will end here, and then I can do my running stitch down the middle. So let's select our running stitch. That's this little one right here. And click here, down to here. Right click to turn it off. And then select our steel stitch, starting here, going down the branch, and clear past the needles here. Right click. And once again, I need to be back up here. So select it, use your shape tool, and have it end. Drag that red dot clear back up to the beginning, and it will start and stop here. So then I'd grab my running stitch again, and right click to turn it off. Grab the steel stitch, start here, click down the branch, clear to the end, right click, and there we go. Select it, select the shape tool, and have it start and stop in the middle. And there we go. Beautiful. Okay, and we'd carry on and do the rest of the branches, but let's adjust the branches so they are, the right proper width. And another thing, let's just watch this stitch out real quick. Let me get to the branch part. Let me slide it to the branch part. Okay, so if we slowly watch it stitch, you'll see it hesitate here, right there, as it does the running stitch. The running stitch. So hold on, it's gonna go back to the middle, and it will hesitate in the middle again. Okay, so as it ties off that running stitch at the beginning and the end of the running stitch, it hesitates and ties a knot. Well, I don't need that, do I? I don't need to tie off that running stitch in the middle because I just need it to be continuous. So we can fix that. All right, so let's just stop there. Oh, right there, stop. Click the select tool to bring it all back. Okay, so over in our sequence view, I can select running stitches, click on show, click the drop down arrow on all segments and click run. And there are the running stitches. These are the needles, but these are the 3 running stitches in the middle, down the middle of the branch. The middle of the trunk. So let's select them all by touching Control on our keyboard. And what I can do is if I select right here, not transform, but commands the red X and dot, click there, and tie in, I don't need any, say none, and tie off, I don't need any tie offs, so I say none, and I click apply. So now there's no tie in and tie off on that running stitch, so it won't have to stop in the middle there. Okay, so the next thing I need to adjust are the satin stitches or the steel stitches. So let's go back to our show box, click the drop down arrow, click steel. So here's all of our steel stitches, select them all. And I want them to be narrower, so I adjusted the width to about 1.2, I believe. Okay, and at the end I wanted kind of a point. If you look at the finished design, see how it kind of comes out to a point out here? See the point? So here's how we do that. Go back to the tree and select all the steel stitches. And at the stop line cap, it's the end down here, we click the down arrow and put a 135 cut point. Now I don't know what that means exactly. I guess it's a 135 degree cut point. I would assume that's what it means, and click apply. Oh, it did it at the beginning. Oh, that's right, because I put my stop cap at, okay, back that up. Undo, that's right, because remember we started and stopped at the beginning? So let's put it at the start line and see what happens. There we go, that's better. Do you see the point at the end here? Okay, beautiful. Okay, now all we do at this point is, of course, change the colors up. Let's see, let's grab some brown, like a tan color for the branches. Oh, I don't know, what do we want to pick here? Oh, these are kind of light, aren't they? Here's some tans. How about, oh dear, this is so hard, so many colors. And let's change the needles to a better color. Oops, we need to click here under show, click all to bring our needles back. See all that artwork, all the needles and the branches? Let's collapse all that. Collapse all that, collapse all that. There we go. There's the needles. Let's make them a nice green color. Great. Looks good. We're doing good. Oh, and of course I'd want to change these running stitches here to the same brown, right? Because I don't want my machine to have to stop. Whoop. Grab that. Think I can grab that one? Nope. I have to go over here to grab it. That one right there. Nope, it wants to grab the whole thing. Okay, so here's how we can do it. Click run again. And we don't want the run of the yellow. Let's right click and collapse all of this. We want these 3 run stitches. And let's change those to that same brown. There we go, because we don't want to have to stop and change color. So let's watch this stitch out. There's our green. Nice. Perfect. Yay. Doing exactly what we want it to do. Going down the branch. Look how good we are. We're smarter than that auto digitizer. Up the middle. And here's our brown. Let's see how well it does. There's our running stitch. No hesitation on the running stitch where it tried to stop and start. We could actually take the stop, the tie off out of the beginning of the satin stitches there too, or out of the steel stitches if we wanted, because it hesitates when it's starting that steel stitch. Beautiful. We'll stop. Okay, so let's go back and grab those steel stitches. There's all 4 of them. we'll make it even better. Go back to our General tab, and we don't need a tie on, do we? And actually we don't need to tie off because remember it starts and stops there. That'll make it stitch better. So let's watch those branches stitch now. Let's watch when it gets to the middle here. Look at that, no hesitation, just carries on. And you see how it gets back to the beginning is it does a run stitch down the middle and starts the satin down at the end of the branch. Perfect. Good. Watch that one stitch up here towards the beginning, towards the middle. Good. Yay. Okay, let's zoom back out. So we'd carry on and fill up the rest with that. Okay, let's play with the star. Let's zoom in on the star. And remember, we've got a gap in there. So it's not going to digitize all the way around the star. I wanted a filled in star. If you can see the star on the finished tree there, it's all filled in. So what we have to do is we're gonna fix that artwork. We'll make our own. So we'll grab our artwork tool here, and we're just gonna click around the star. We don't have to be perfect because this isn't a perfect star, is it? Just kind of quickly click around there. When you get back to the beginning, right click, and it will pick up the last color that you were using. So let's select it, and let's change it to that pink so it's not stuck to the brown. And let's bring all our segments back. Whoop. Sorry. And there it is. So that's just artwork because we used our pencil to draw it. Once we've got it selected, we're going to click the auto fill, click standard fill, and there it is all filled up. Let's make it a pretty yellow color instead. And let's zoom in on it. Let's select it. And did it select the yellow or the artwork? That's a good question. It didn't. It selected the artwork. So let's click here. Now we've got the stitching selected. All right, I don't like that fill pattern, so we can mess around with fill patterns over here. I think I used a fancy fill pattern. I used 201, and I want the embossing scale to be about half. That means these little checks will be about half their regular size. Click apply, and that's cute. All right, so let's grab that running stitch, and excuse me, not running stitch, but the artwork, this hot pink artwork. And we're going to put a running stitch around the outside edge to kind of fill it, to kind of finish it off. All right, so we're going to select, and actually I decided to put a motif around the outside edge. So click there, and it goes crazy because that is a big motif. So I found stitch 282. I really like stitch 282. So select 282, click apply, and it kind of looks like a hand-stitched outline. And I changed the pattern size to 3.0. And there we go. That looks good. All right, like the star. Let's zoom back out. Last couple of things. We got to make a trunk. Let's select the trunk. And we're going to use our fill stitch and fill it in, and let's change it to a brown color. Let's use a darker brown than the branches. Maybe something like that. And the last really hard part, first of all, our star needs to be last, doesn't it? Needs to stitch after the trunk. So let's select it here and right click, move it to the last. Better. Last thing, I need to make little ornaments. See how cute the little ornaments are on the tree? Here we go. Easy peasy. Going to use my custom shape tool right there. Select the circle or ellipse, and you're going to hold control on your keyboard and draw a tiny, just click and drag a tiny little circle. And select it with the select tool. Then we'll just fill it with a satin stitch. We'll use this icon at the very bottom called Auto Satin. Click there, and I liked a little denser satin, so I'm going to change my density to 0.4 and click apply. And of course we want to change it to a pretty color, don't we? So let's just start grabbing some colors here. How about an orange? And we can select it, copy and paste it, and just start putting the ornaments on our tree. Cute. Copy and paste. And I just click paste about 5 times. That means I've got 5 copies. Whoop, not the branch. Hello. Got 5 copies up here. Nope, gotta make sure I get just the ornament. There we go. Fun. Just like decorating your own Christmas tree, right? Make sure you get all the copies, or that'll stitch. Well, we got 1 too many, didn't we? So let's copy and paste maybe 2 times. Make a couple more copies. 1 for here, 1 for over here somewhere. And then, of course, change up the colors. Great. All right, we got our ornaments on our tree. We don't need that artwork there, so we select it and delete it. Fun tool, this little tool at the top called Symbol. If you click on the symbol, it opens a little drop-down menu here, and we're going to go down to this. Whoop. What is it? BDEC012, whatever that means. It's a little snowflake. Click there, and if you just hold your left mouse down and drag, you'll get snowflakes. Cute. And if you click and drag, you can change the angle to whatever you want or the size to whatever you want, and that adds the snowflakes. Okay, some tips on the snowflakes. I made them all silver. Whoop, hello. Getting mouse crazy here. So I'm going to slide down clear to the bottom down here. All of those little pieces are the snowflakes. Wow, a lot of pieces in a snowflake, isn't there? Let's collapse all of that. Go down again. There we go. And I wanted to change this to a metallic thread. So in my thread section over here on the left, I click this little, looks like a little thread chart here. Left click it and I go and change it to Floriani Metallic. And here are my metallic colors. Change it to silver. And I change the star to gold. Floriani Metallics are, bar none, the best metallics I have ever worked with. Less thread breakage, and they stitch out beautifully. All right, so there's how I created the tree. So as part of this project, I will give you this artwork so you can play with it yourself. And happy stitching, and make yourself a little pillow band. And thank you for joining me today.